Okay, so as you pretty much said, right? As I mentioned, a very good thing to have versus the Mundo is going to be the Ignite because he's just going to be healing a ton, and for you as Olaf, it's not really worth to purchase any anti-healing. Why? Because, just like anti-healing overall, items aren't really too much gold efficient, I would say. Having Blade of the Ring King is going to be very good in matchup, and just like overall, but, the more the game goes, this item makes you very squishy. So having versus Muda, like for example, if you went it like this, okay, Strikebreaker is always like a fine item on Olaf. A good option is also like the Gore Drinker because obviously Diana is gonna be jumping in your face, Muda is gonna be on top of you. Nautilus, Irelia, so Gore Drinker also might be an option this game. Why? Because everyone's gonna be on top of you. Okay, so Strikebreaker is gonna be good in situations when the enemies aren't gonna be on top of you.
Okay.
When they have a lot of mobility, when they're like hard to reach or something. But here Olaf is just like a ridiculously good pick. So you pulled out the Olaf in like a really really good moment, and pretty much with Olaf you can just like reach the Ash easily, like everyone. Nobody can like really stop you here. So your champion is really really good into the enemy team comp over here. So also like when it comes to the Sterix Gauge. Sterix Gauge is also like a fine item, but I would like rather prioritize maybe going it this way. You can look to purchase your mythic item, which can be the Gore Drinker, or you can like even rush the Blade of the Ruin King if you feel like you're gonna be fully matchup oriented, because Blade of the Ruin King is really really good in 1v1 scenarios. Okay? So then you can like purchase the Blade of the Ruin King. If you feel that the enemies are impacting your lane, that you're forced to go for team fights and stuff like that, you need to like go for your mythic first item because it gives you like a tiny bit of health at least. So it helps you to survive. But Sterix, it's fine. But I would like prioritize getting like Black Cleaver second or third item. Why? Because I know this guy is gonna be having a ton of armor, right? He should be. Same goes for Nautilus. Like everyone in their team can purchase some armor, and also like Diana went for some armor here. So having Black Cleaver here would be the win condition. I would skip completely the Sterix and go for the Black Cleaver over here.
Okay.
So you can get like that armor shred. I mean, your Q reduces armor, so on top of that you get like the Black Cleaver. You're almost dealing like true damage to anyone. Okay.
Okay.
So let's go through this game then. The Olaf one, or would you like to go for the Camille one? What do you think?
Olaf one, it's fine.
Okay, because I think this game, itemization might be hurting you, and you'll see why. The Strikebreaker is gonna be like fine, right? But it's not gonna be fully used, if you get me. So
Yeah.
So Ghost Ignite is a great option. Flash is valuable, but Flash is something which you can skip, right?
Yeah.
Rune wise, you had armor versus him, which is fine. Runes are good. Okay. Also versus Mundo, I would maybe go for a D shield. Why? Because he can constantly poke you through the minions and through the lane with his Q. So D shield is gonna give you some extra survivability. I mean sustain overall. Why? Because Mundo overall sustains a lot because of his passive. Okay, so he pretty much restores his health, right? He regenerates 0.40% max health every 5 seconds. On top of that, you add the second wind and the Doran shield. This guy is probably getting like, you know, 20 HP every 2 to 3 seconds, something like that. Especially like after you trade him, he's healing a ton. So I'd be like looking to match that. Also, try not to AFK over here because it can be like just like suicide. So try to like maybe cover here or stand somewhere around more safer. Like you can stand in this bush and pretty much escape. So try to like cover a little bit. Covering is gonna be beneficial for you. They have a Nautilus, so they can like easily create invades. So you have to be like careful for that. And also, it's very, very important for you that you do not overleash, right? Because like now it's like 140. By the time you're on the lane, you're gonna be losing some CS like you do here. I mean, you did lose the gold, XP not, but still, we wanna make sure that we're getting everything. Now here, you get your Q up, so you can just like continue chasing him down. Okay? Because you stacked up your Conqueror, he used his Grasp. So Grasp is good in short trades, and this is what Mundo wants. I mean, he didn't grasp you here, but he could have if he played it out correctly. So he didn't grasp you here, but you know, you have Conqueror, the more you fight him, the more you heal. And the less HP you have, the more you also heal because you have a ton of attack speed, and it's, you know, really good on your level 2 when you get your W up. So, you know, you shouldn't be really afraid of him over here. You should be like trying to chase him down because he overstepped. And you're like an Olaf. You're really, really good at this, like, you know, chase down situations. Like here, you know, you start chasing him down, you commit to it, and then you turn back. That's not something which we want. If we are committing to him and we're already walking up, if this is our intention, let's try to chase him down fully, right? Let's not back off like randomly. Because there's no reason for you to walk up in the first place if you're just gonna be like taking a cue from him and backing off. Another thing which you should be like focused in is that he is like, you know, hitting the minions more than you are. So he's gonna get level 2 before you, which results in you getting pushed in. And in this matchup, I don't think you benefit from being pushed in. Why? Because, you know, Mudo cannot contest you. Mudo should be like giving up a lot of CS over here in this matchup. He should be like queuing for the minions, not for you. Like if he queues you, you're doing something wrong.
Okay.
Like over here, you can freely auto attack and queue him. Over here, you hit like 2 minions, you know, don't like, you know, miss out these opportunities. Like if he's positioned like this, you move a little bit towards here and you try to queue both of the 2 minions and him, pretty much. You know, you're just like looking to match his movement. You're looking to mirror his movement, but still stay behind the minions. Like you see, you're always just like clicking backwards. The same thing was happening yesterday. Same matchup, by the way. So. You know, and the early game is where you power spike as an Olaf. So if you're looking to give up, like absolutely everything, like the control of the lane and everything as an Olaf, you know, it's not really too beneficial for you because you don't really scale. And the more the game goes on, the less and less you can pretty much do something in the game.
Okay.
Okay, Diana died on bot lane, so you know it still can tell you like pretty much you just have to try to find an all-in on him. Like even if you're feeling out of mana, you always have your cookies, which are gonna come up like every 2 minutes. So like in 20 seconds you're gonna get your cookie, but make sure that you're not using your W randomly or your Qs like this. Like you're missing out too many trades because of that. Like every time you're going onto him, you're winning the trades, right? Like now when
Yeah.
you're watching it, like every time you committed to a trade on him, it's like automatically, you know, really one-sided. Only way how he wins this matchup is by you getting low on mana and him poking you all the time. Okay, this is fine, but here when the play starts, you're just walking around again, missing out too much CS. And how to bait the enemy top laner to a gank is like pretty much you have to move towards here, not towards here. So hugging this part of the wall is completely useless, and you're not pushing the Mundo anywhere, right? So if you walk up towards here, he's forced to like either walk up, you know, somewhere around here, and then you can like Amumu can gap him from here, and you can gap him from here, right? So you're pretty much cutting him off. But if both of you are coming from this part, he just runs in that direction, and he can get out. Okay. And also, you know, you're just like tethering him over here. Over here, you should be tethering him and, you know, forcing him to step down towards the river. Like here. we need to walk up, and also like you just walked by 2 minions, like this one, miss, this one, miss, right? And you started like, walking up with the Q there a bit too early, but the Mundo is an enter because obviously he doesn't react to the movement time and doesn't get out. So the Mundo entered this, but we cannot rely on that, right? He still has his flash and everything, but the guy is just obviously inting. Okay, so we should be pushing the enemies towards the way of the direction of our jungler, right? Just so we can like bait them into ganks, and we pretty much need to make sure that we're correctly timing the approach from Amumu, because if the Mudo didn't int here and he didn't walk back in, right, he just gets out there because you engaged early. Does it make sense?
Okay, yeah.
So you started like walking up too early. In this situation, it works, but we cannot, like think about, okay, it worked this time, it's gonna work next time. We have to like, make sure that we avoid this kind of stuff. Okay, the boarding's fine. Okay, here, I would be actually stepping up. Do you know why?
No.
Because you're gonna be level 6 soon. Like, you legit go walk up over here. Like, you don't let him first of all to walk up over here. You're zoning him away from these 2 minions. So you're pushing him away. If he walks up over here, you look to pick up your axe. Okay? You just ghost and you run him down. You get your ultimate, you ghost him and you run him down. You also ignore the fact of the minions over here, because your Q deals AoE damage and your Gore Drinker as well. So the minions are gonna be dying here. From your Qs and from your Gore Drinker. I mean, not Gore Drinker, what's it called? The Iron Spike. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So, like, this is a huge opportunity for you actually to go in. Right? So we should be aware that we're like legit, like if we scratch these minions, we just go in. Okay, he's still coming in. He's still like 70% HP, 65, something like that. Still, you have an opportunity because he's inting. Here, you start walking up. You queue the whole wave over here. He should be, if I'm thinking about, he should be somewhere around here. And you just like queue towards this direction, right? Like if you queue like towards this direction, right? It should be like hitting him, and you just like commit to an all-in. So you should be like finding all-ins. Like you're level 6 now. He's still walking up into you. You don't know it, but the guy's just inting. He plays the laning phase as much as he wants. Like now, when he's walking back, right? Now you can't do anything. So you missed out 2 opportunities where he was pretty much inting. It's very, very important for us to find out, like, opportunities when somebody is inting. Like here. Q him. Just go. Q, ghost. Q, ghost, ult. Right? Because if you're playing the laning phase to passive as an Olaf, what happens is we just don't get anything. We fall off into the late game. Like I see when I'm looking at this game that what is it? Here. I'm looking at this and I see that your team was actually doing fine, right? Everybody was doing fine. But the thing is, the Muda can take control of the game if you're not doing anything. Like you won't be able to 1v1 him or anything because he can just like ult and run out. He's gonna have like too much HP for you to actually really 1v1 him, and he can just like perma clear the waves into you and you cannot do anything. So it's very, very important for you to capitalize into the early game and just like, find opportunities to all in. Like here, as you can see, you're using the Gorging and melting the wave. So. Like you see, every time you're going in, auto win, auto win. Like this is what, like now, you can think about it like, holy shit, I'm actually so strong. Look at this, what I'm doing to him. Right? Also, like if what I would maybe do differently here is like I think you can even probably kill both of them. Like you Q him here, E him, you pick up this axe, fine. But I would be just like ulting and running towards this. I need to pick up this. If you don't pick up this, you're gonna get kited out. If you don't pick up this axe, you're gonna get kited out. I mean, most likely in every scenario you're dead here, but your only chance of really surviving here is just like ulting towards her, like picking this up and trying to like to turn on them. And pray that your conqueror pretty much heals up, Because she's taking a lot of minion damage there, and so is the Mundo gonna be, okay? Like, flashing, ghosting out doesn't really help you because your ult expires, so you're gonna be dead anyway, so I'll be just like, trying to force their flashes or something there. But yeah, like, as you started over here, like, extremely, like, a good try over here, like, to understand your limits. Like, here. Here is, like, the situation where you should be recognizing, like, holy shit. I could have been playing out the laning phase so much more differently, right? Like, now when you look at this all in over here, I'm actually stumping this guy, right?
Yeah, right.
So, like, that's, like, a situation where you're like, oh my god, I'm actually so strong. Because we're giving up so many resources, everything, and as you can see, the Mundo is inting again. Like, look at his like way management. The guy's just like inting. He's just like a terrible player. But you should be like really capitalizing on this kind of players, right? Which are just like clueless and they don't know what they're doing. You should be capitalizing on that. Like at the moment, it seems like you're underperforming, right? I mean, we are, but these are like really, really easy mistakes. We really need to just like understand what our champions want to do a bit more. Okay, so Camille, as we talked about it yesterday, like you played that Camille game, we talked about Camille. With Camille, like when we get Sandra versus Mundo, it's just like game over. Like Sandra versus tanks, ridiculously good. So same thing as with Olaf. Early game is our power spike. We really, really need to focus on what are our power spikes. With Olaf, early game, 20 minutes. Before 20 minutes, if you don't get super ahead, you're just ridiculously, useless. So your gold graph should, like, if this is the enemy, let's put this as a graph, okay? So if this is the enemy's income, like Mundo's income, okay? And your income is same like that. If your income is like, matching like his, if your income is same as his, right? It's great for Mundo. Mundo's gonna win. It's awesome for Mundo. So what we need to make sure is that our graph isn't looking like this, that it's looking like this, that we're getting more income than the Mundo. How do we do this? We're zoning him away from the minions. We're trying to crash minion waves under his tower so we can like apply pressure, maybe like look for some invades, like controls. We can do proxying even in these situations. Why? Because you're extremely good in 1v2 scenarios as an Olaf. Your champion is just like an Exodia versus Diana and Mundo. Both of them are like really, really weak into the early game. So you can like look to proxy, but you need to make sure that you're tracking everything correctly. They don't have Ignite versus you, like the Mundo doesn't have any anti-healing like so far, so you can benefit from that extremely well, and you can do whatever you want. Like you can push the minion waves, minions deal damage, you get tower plates eventually, right? And you get all-in opportunities on the Mundo like you did, so you can like pretty much get a ton of tower plates here. Maybe even get an Herald opportunity after you take your first tower, or even take the Herald and take down your first tower, or use the Herald on another lane. I'm just like speculating, but you get the point. You're missing out a ton of opportunities, and it's just gonna like cost you, right? So we need to know what is our win condition on every champion which we're playing. Like here, you're freezing. Like if you didn't understand like previously, like from this play, that you're extremely good on all ends, right? You should be recognizing it now. So now when the Mundo comes in, again, walking up like he owns the lane, we just go on him. Just fight him. Fight him to death. He still doesn't have anti-healing. He's inting. Your all-ins are ridiculously good. Like, look, you just like Q and you Iron Spike, and the whole wave is dead. The caster minion wave, dead. Okay? Maybe you felt uncomfortable because you're like level 7, but little do you know, you Iron Spike, and you're level 8. Okay? So track your level. Like, look, here he's just like walking up, walking up, walking up. Like, there's no point of us even like, taking the approach velocity if we're not gonna be using it as well. Okay, your Q constantly procs it, so he's slowed. Plus, you have increased move speed. You get on top of him in a second. So it's very, very important for us to have it. Like here, again, you're on top of him. Look at this. If you then miss this Q and if you W it instantly, you're automatically winning him. So every time you're on top of him, you're automatically winning it. If played out correctly, obviously. Here we, misuse our W in our Q. So. Like, look. And he's like supposedly, let's say, even with you and you're just like stomping him. I'll just like fast forward it now just so we can see a little bit of the different parts of the game. Just because, I mean, obviously we're not getting too much from the laning phase. Like here, you can threaten him with a dive. Like you should be standing here and queuing him under the tower. So you push him away, okay? You need to push him away. Look at your vision setup. You have everything you need. Even if Diana comes, you don't care. Your vision setup is ridiculously good. Now you see Diana, you can back off, okay? But your poke potential here should be just like, zone this guy off. Like, yes, Diana was here a second ago, but if you're still standing like close to here, try to like poke him, you can still like, do whatever you want. Doesn't matter like that Diana is nearby. You're still strong. Because, okay, we do pull out a freeze here, we back. He teleported back. But now it's gonna be like, the more the game goes, the harder for you it is to match him. Because like it's like 14 minutes now, and as an Olaf, if you don't even scratch the tower plates, it's a disaster. We really need to focus on like getting those tower plates as much as possible. I mean, just like to get ourselves ahead as possible as we can. Here I think it's you got poked down, so the recall here is like fine. You get Strikebreaker here. You're not using your Strikebreaker? Now we use it, right?
Yeah, I forgot. Do you think Trinity Force is good on Olaf?
It's a good item on Olaf to fight enemies to death, pretty much. But I think like Strikebreaker, Gorginker, Trinity Force, those kind of combination can be really good. Depends, like, Gorginker can be like, a personal preference as well, so.
Yeah.
Because like there, like you did ghost him, but you could have done it like previously, right? Like you did it now. Like over here, you all end him. But you didn't realize that you could be doing it all the time. This is what you should be doing all the time. Like every time you just get on top of him, like because your argument could be, okay, I'm all-inning him now because I have my Strikebreaker. But again, an argument is that you didn't even use the Strikebreaker. So what does make it different that you're all-inning him now and you didn't all-in him before?
Yeah.
I think having boots is also really valuable for you. So I would try to get the boots just so you can match him and chase him down. Boots are a incredibly good value on Olaf. Okay, freezing him over here, it's fine, but you're gonna be he's gonna be forcing some roams over here if you're just looking to freeze him. Yeah, you still don't have your boots. You could be buying 2 attack speed and boots here, right? So 2 daggers and boots. And also, if you're aware that the Mundo has an Herald, right? You shouldn't be really backing here. You should be hard pushing over here, one more wave, or just making sure that you're staying here so you can what as a Herald, okay? Or just push the Herald away from your lane. Because he gets the tier 2 tower for 0 reasons. And this, here, he's healing is exactly why having Ignite on your champion is really good.
Of course, the Ignite.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's check it out. I think you could have been even winning it, but you know what was a mistake here? That you didn't recognize that you don't escape him. That you just forced to fight him. Here, when you W, you should be Wing when you have a little bit of less health. Why? Because it's a missing health shield. Okay? Or if you already W him, just fight him to death and just sit behind your minions. Kite him around your minions. Why would you run, right? Away from your minions, and the minions can block his Q. Or he can even misclick and auto attack the minions. Why would we run into an open field where he can just land as many Qs as he wants? When we can hide behind the minions, especially the cannon minions, just fight him to death. You know? Because if you're running out, he's gonna Q and he's gonna chase you down. So when you W'd there, your W would be, giving you more attack speed. More attack speed equals more healing from your passive. So you get a lot of opportunities there to turn him, plus, to block some of his Qs. Oh, that hurt. Damn, that damage through a W was sick. Here. You W, look at the shield. And then, poof, gone.
Yeah.
If you're already looking to escape, if you're looking to run away, why wouldn't we then flash, right? We have to decide, are we gonna commit or are we gonna run? So we really have to be okay, what do we want to do here? Okay, this Baron call is interesting. Irelia bot lane, Mundo mid, fine. I guess they just gave it up, fine. But also keep in mind, oh yeah, big mention for this chase down here from Mundo, right? You cannot escape him if you don't have boots. So we need to really increase our self-awareness, okay? We cannot escape the Mundo who has the full boots. if we don't even have the tier 1 boots, right? So even if you do flash, he's gonna be chasing you down. Okay? So in that situation, when he just shows up, fight to death, because you're dead anyway. So it's like, you know what, there, you know? But now we have like the Blade Runner King, so you can still get like some all-ins. You can match Aurelia, she's also behind, so it's fine. We got the boots, fine. Okay, here just like matching the Mundo, right? But if you're just sitting over here, your Jhin is low health. You know, you just cannot do anything here. Your champion is like only good at flanks, right? But if you're walking like straight up into them, it's very hard for you to reach them. So your presence here on the mid lane doesn't do anything. Why? Amumu is nearby, Leona is nearby. So you just standing over here is completely useless. You want to go around, like no matter which way, you want to go around and you want to create a flank. You standing over here under the tower, completely useless. So what can you do to relieve pressure from him? How do you release pressure over here? You're showing up somewhere around here, they spot you out, and you're running out. So you're just like, your job is to threaten by your presence. You know this is worded, you can show up somewhere around. So your job is to threaten them with a flank. If you're walking up from here, chances from you to hit a Q from here to here are really low. But if you're walking behind them, you gap close them, and you get a very, very good flank on them. So your job is also not to move towards top lane. I would move towards bot lane here. Because, you know, in the first place, you know, you can just like pick up this wave and somebody else can pick up this wave afterwards. It doesn't really matter. Actually, sorry, it doesn't really matter on which lane you are. You can like either move top lane or bot lane, it's whatever. Both of the waves are good. But, you know, just like being there on mid lane doesn't do anything. Just wastes your time, you know? Tempo is very important. Yeah, it would be actually better to be top lane because of the tier 1 tower, so... Like now, for example, when the dragon is gonna be up, like dragon is gonna be spawning in... Dragon spawns in 10 seconds. Now you cannot even go for this tower. You would like to be here, maybe. So... No, sorry, actually, I'm so retarded. What the fuck am I talking? Okay, you need to be on bot lane because of the dragon timer, okay? And then for bot lane, you can like join up to mid lane if something happens because you don't have teleport. I forgot you don't have teleport here on Olaf. So you should be on the bot lane here because you're closer to the dragon.
Okay.
So the bot wave should be picked up by you, and you drop the top wave because the top wave can be picked up even over here. Depends, you know, how much time the dragon fight takes us. And also, like, Irelia shows up over here, so she's inting, so you can still fight the dragon 4v4. And also, like, most importantly, this is like a mountain soul. The mountain soul is so valuable for you, and as you can see, your teammates want to contest it. Like, the worst part is that Leona was even spawning for the dragon. So, you know, if you were there, you just smell down the Diana, and the game is won from there. Like, having the mountain soul is, like, ridiculously good. Like, the mountain dragon is so broken, like, 9% armor and magic resistance per stack. Huge. Like, I would ult here instantly, and just, like, fully commit to her. Like, your E is up, your W is up, you know, here it's just, like, you're inting pretty much over here, right? Like, here, you're just, like, walking around. It's just, like, what you have to do here is just, like, a right click on her, and that's it. Your champion is gonna follow her on its own. You just W and right click. Like, you instantly here, you ult, and you just run her down. Your clicking here is killing you. Like, look, you're just, like, walking around, not hitting her. Right?
Yeah.
So as we mentioned from yesterday, you need to like focus more on like fixing your clicks. It's more of like a personal habit and just like personal take, but that's definitely something which you have to keep an eye on. Your right clicks and just like clicking overall. Like here, like instantly when you just like fully commit to her instantly and you don't walk around, you're automatically killing her. Like here. Look. Easy win. Again, here I would be looking to create maybe some flank opportunities, but I guess your teammates are doing their job, so it's fine. So you can go and continue split pushing over here, which is fine. Pick up the axes. Pick up the axe. Pick up the axe. Pick up the axe. So why is it important for you to pick up the axe? Your axe breaks his armor, okay? So you Q him here. His armor is like reduced. What is he? His armor is reduced. His armor is like 181. And he goes back to 226. Only because you're not, breaking his armor. You could have been benefiting a lot from it. Dragon is gonna be up. You're again not with your teammates. You should be like rotating there like ASAP. Because if you lose even this dragon, it's gonna be like even a bigger disaster. So I would be just like, going with my teammates. And yeah, as you can see here, this is why having Black Cleaver is very valuable. You just cannot match him over here. You're based off of auto attacks because of your Blade of the Ring King, right? And you don't have like any armor shred. So you're not picking up your axes, you're not spamming your E, right? So everything you have should be like used instantly. Your E, your Qs, everything. You're always like delayed a little bit. So pretty much just like, how it would sound if I'm like playing Olaf, I'm just gonna be like hitting the keyboard like this. Hit, 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 just like spam everything pretty much. And keep an eye on the cooldowns, okay? But now he has like a full Tormail, so you're like killing yourself very much. So, I would be looking to group up with my teammates a bit more and just like avoid the 1v1 scenarios because it's hard for you to match him. Very, very hard for you to match him. And here, if you were with your team, you just close the game. What happened here?
I don't know why I lost here, to be honest.
Because you're not picking up your axes again, right? You're going like for flat auto attack trades. Like, she has the same attack speed as you, and she's like, landing her abilities. She's like, healing actually. Like, it's like you really need to like look up to land your auto attacks and everything. Like, why you lost this is because she's pretty much ahead and she has Ignite. So if you're just like going for like an auto attack trade to her, if you're like fighting her, both of your champions do the same thing. Her auto attack trades are even better than yours. Why? Because of her passive. She deals a ton of magic damage on every hit she does. And if she ignites you, she out heals you and everything, and she just like flat wins you. So that's why you're stronger here if you use your Qs. If you pick up your Qs. And here, like you're fighting her, and then now you decide to pick up your axe, which is like, the worst possible moment here, because now you're just like in a situation, the less HP you have, the more attack speed you have. So here, if you're already like, not picking up your axes from the first moment, don't pick them up now. Just fight her to death. Now you're walking around and she's hitting you. And you could have been the one hitting her. You invested yourself to pick up this axe, while she was able to land 2 auto attacks. Okay? So like, this last second of your fight just like hinted you. You then pick up your axe over here. You could be like, go and pick it up. And then continue chase her down. And here, when you decided to just like run to pick up the axe, costed your life here. Because this movement, instead of you running away and picking this axe up, would be killing her over here, right?
Yeah.
So if we don't start picking up the axes from the first moment, it's pointless to try to run and pick up the axe when we are like, 1 auto attack from dying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and your team takes a bad trade and it's just like pretty much game over. Yeah. I would like say that, this game was like really winnable for you. But, you just like weren't really grouping up for the dragons, like for the objectives. You were just like permanently split pushing, permanently split pushing. So it's like very, very important for us that we're like, okay, we need to understand our win conditions and we need to understand what we want to do.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm permanently hearing the sounds. So, we have to like make sure that we're playing out mechanically correctly. We're having some like, mechanical errors here and there. We're not spamming our abilities correctly. We're not like, using our kit correctly. We're not looking for those all-ins in the early game, which Olaf is strong with, right? And we just like pretty much get outscaled. I mean, as an Olaf, you get outscaled easily. Like you cannot 1v1 the Mundo when he gets like a Tormail. He's just like healing a ton, right? Maybe if he had the Black Cleaver, you could be, but like overall, he just like permanently out heals you and you're killing yourself with hitting him from the Tormail. So grouping up for the dragons, very important. Trying to create flanks and more opportunities to teamfight, especially like if you see that your team is ahead. Your job is not to fall down behind. You like the 1v1s with the Aurelia and everything aren't even needed really. You can just like ignore the Aurelia, group up with your team, and go for fights. Take the number advantages. Aurelia has an ignite, she doesn't have a teleport. You have a ghost, which means that you can really easily engage fights. Okay?
Okay.
Like the objectives, like the dragons and everything could have been all yours. And I think this game was like really, really a free win. Like the early game all-ins, we just have to make sure that we're doing all that. Because if we don't do those stuff, what happens, we can just like very easily get outscaled. Okay?
Okay.
You have any questions?
No.
Was everything clear?
Yeah.
It's just like step up a little bit with aggressiveness, make sure that we're using the tempo correctly, the rotations. It's not all about, just like staying on your lane. Like rotate for the objectives, especially like if it's like a soul, dragon soul. Your teammates are ahead. Just like stick with them. You get the team fights like 100% done. It's not all about just like side laning. Because yeah, you're doing the split pushing to distract the pressure, but you see, you're not really winning the side lanes, are you?
No.
So what you can do is like avoid fighting the side lanes, group up, or just like pick up the side waves. Don't force the fights. You can always like, for example, if it's like an Irelia or something, you can like poke her down with your Q and eventually like go for an all-in. You don't have to like always just run for the all-in, Just like, increase your aggressiveness, on the laning phase. Just like make sure that we really understand our fundamentals. That's all we need. You said you were playing this in like a tilt queue, but just like make sure that you avoid playing on tilt queue, go for an alt account and everything, so you can make everything done correctly. Okay?
Okay.
Awesome.